Hi, my name is Yabala, and today I will be exploring the entrepreneurial qualities of Mr. Suman Lee, more commonly known in his native Korean form as Lee Suman. He is the founder of SM Entertainment, the current leading music label and entertainment corporation that majorly contributed to the global phenomenon known today as Hallyu and K-pop. Lee Suman entered his early 20s around the 1970s in South Korea, where he pursued an education at prestigious institutions such as Seoul National University, which is where he discovered his passion for music instead of his intended field of agriculture. Lee ventured into the music scene as a folk singer, attaining moderate success. However, his path diverged when he found himself at odds with the authoritarian regime, prompting his journey to Southern California in 1980. This period abroad coincided with a significant transformation in the US pop music industry. Fascinated by music videos and MTV, he found himself to be captivated by the rising star of the era, Michael Jackson, and the emerging dance pop genre. Lee shifted his musical allegiance away from folk music and embraced this new, vibrant genre that unironically mirrored his academic transition from agriculture to computer science. Lee's time in the US laid the foundation for his future accomplishments. Upon his return to Seoul in 1985, Lee attempted to resurrect his career as a performer, but faced limited success. Consequently, he shifted his focus towards promoting and producing other pop music artists. If he had chosen to conclude his musical career in 1990, Lee would have forever remained as only a relatively obscure figure from the 1970s music scene. In seeking a more mainstream and hence a more profitable niche, Lee began his entrepreneurial journey and went ahead in producing South Korea's first ever dance pop boy band. Backstreet Boys in the United States and Shonentai in Japan were extremely successful in the 1980s, and Lee sought to replicate the formula: attractive boys who sing and dance well. His first act was H.O.T. Debuting in 1996, the group was a sensation. Following in its stead, Lee observed and analyzed what worked and didn't work with H.O.T. and quickly expanded his label's artist base by debuting groups such as SES, Shinhwa, and many other groups, almost all of which proved to be successful. Oh In-gyu and John Lai inform us in their handbook in East Asian Entrepreneurship of how these proto-K-pop groups marked a new era in South Korean pop music in which largely single-sex groups sang and danced ensemble to a mixture of US pop music genres. The biggest entrepreneurial creation that Lee brought to SM Entertainment and the Korean entertainment industry as a whole would have to be the concept and system of culture technology, or CT for short. When Lee accepted the 2012 Culture Award honoree from the Korea Society in New York, he reminisces the beginnings of his innovation as he explained.
When I first planned overseas expansion, I created the term CT in order to distinguish from IT. IT is the information technology, as you know. CT is the culture technology. We, SM Entertainment, have created our own CT, culture technology.
We can see from all this that he had a vision and a goal to change the Korean entertainment industry, but also form a sustainable and profitable system at the same time, which strongly emanates the attributes of innovation, business analysis, resilience, and determination, which are all key qualities of a true entrepreneur. Most of the risks and challenges that he has had to face during the process of building SM Entertainment and his ultimate goal for globalization was to do with the financial and legal difficulties of attempting to build such a large-scale corporation from a small independent music label with a few artists within the context of the Korean economy at the time. As mentioned earlier, Lee took the time to analyze all the pros and cons that came forth from his early artist projects that led him to create the culture technology concept, which he states is about putting culture first and economy next.
When everyone was saying economy first and culture next, I said culture first, economy next.
The implementation of CT can be visually seen and orally heard in all of the project artists, live shows, world tours, music production, high-budget music videos, and collaboration with Western producers and writers that Lee Soo-man's initial goal has started to take place and bloom into a revolution not just for SM entertainment, but into a new era of trade and alliance between South Korea and the Western world. Korean pop music and the Hallyu wave of influence has always been an interesting phenomena in the fact that it is one of the rare cultural niches which doesn't discriminate in race, gender, age or language much at all, despite the product itself being predominantly in Korean, with Korean people acting, singing and dancing about Korean culture in a Korean backdrop. One of the possible reasons why K-pop has been successful in Western markets might be because it caters to a hunger for a well-trained, scandal-free, fantasy idol-like celebrity figure that one is able to admire, respect, and express their fanship for them freely without fear of being outcasted themselves, as most of the big celebrities in the Western world has become saturated with very independent, eccentric, misfit solo acts, rather than a group formula which K-pop had perfected, where there is such a diverse pool of personality in each musical band or act that there is bound to be at least one member you find yourself being intrigued by. The only slight trend of the demographic that does not know of K-pop would be people that either do not have access to the internet or are over the age of 65 that already don't have an interest in modern pop culture anyways. To prove that Lee Soo-man is a true entrepreneur, let's take a look at an excerpt from Jeff Dyer's book, The DNA of Disruptive Innovators, where he states, "Innovators are also intense observers. They carefully watch the world around them, including customers, products, services, technologies, and companies." There is no doubt that Lee was constantly observing, analyzing, and applying the knowledge he gained from his early education in California till this day, being a consumer himself of modern-day pop culture, pinpointing the current trends and studying them himself to create a planned and projected system on how to influence the masses with the use of entertainment media. In the early years of SM Entertainment, when it only had 3 or 4 project artist groups on hand, the net worth of the company approximated to around $1.5 million US. Currently, in the first quarter of 2023, the corporation is standing at a market cap of $2.14 billion US. The company had started as a humble independent music label, but grew in stages of expansion into a public shareholders corporation that ventured into artist management, film production, sports talent management, culinary development and hospitality, shopping mall and convention center design, and ever growing till this day, on par with Korean supergiants such as Samsung or LG. To put things into scale, there are currently over 30 artists and acts under the label, with about 100 individual people altogether. If we count the group members who are all earning a range of $1 million to $25 million USD annual income from artist royalties alone. As of the 23rd of February 2023, SM Entertainment reported at a press conference that they will invest 1 trillion Korean won into developing artist training and headquarter divisions in the US. Lee's plan to create a culture technology universe has been going strong ever since the boom of the Hallyu wave back in the early 2010s, and he is as ambitious as ever. He explains his plan in phases and breaks the steps down into departments of artist development in press conferences that were conducted by the Stanford Graduate School of Business and also at his own headquarters, when he states,
같은 과정이 필요합니다. 캐스팅에서부터 트레이닝, 프로듀싱, 매니지먼트까지 불리는 마케팅까지 이러한 각 과정이 바로 SM이 지난 20여 년간 발전시켜온 4가지 핵심 문화 기술입니다.
The third and last phase of culture technology is to establish joint ventures in each market and pass on Korea's culture technology. The ultimate goal of the third phase and the Korean wave, which has been attempted by SM, is to build a strong and reliable globalized market and share the enormous added value created.
The overbearing effect SM Entertainment has had on the entertainment industry has not only been to the favor of passionate fans across the globe gaining joy, inspiration, and wanderlust, but has now reached a point where Lee's fundamental goals of helping change the reputation and standards of life for his own people and country have become true. The scope of positive influence that has been created begins from the focused scale of individual artists all the way to the entire country of South Korea, where there exist stories of artists within the label that hold heart-wrenching stories of coming from a background of poverty and suffering, then rising to the top after being casted by SM Entertainment that gave them an opportunity to both walk down the path of their passion for music and also reach wealth for their family. The globalization of Korean media through music, film, cosmetics, and technology has been recognized by huge powers such as Samsung, UNICEF, UNESCO, the UN, President Obama, President Joe Biden, and many more, mentioning their affection and acknowledgement of the K-pop phenomena, ultimately increasing the reputation and economy of South Korea. Within the context of assessing entrepreneurs, the SWOT analysis method is a well-established technique that is used in the majority of modern businesses and also a good tool for depicting the spectrum of traits a certain entrepreneur may have. The 4 categories of a SWOT analysis are broken down into the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of either an individual or entire business identity. In the case of Lee Soo-man, being represented by SM Entertainment, let's begin by taking a look at the strengths. The cultural influence SM has created has contributed a significant amount of economic growth for the country of South Korea, ultimately increasing the GDP. The artist development system innovated by SM has allowed for a larger range of aspiring artists and talents to reach out and receive support for their ambitions and express their art forms at a high budget. The fundamental values of collaboration and breaking borders from Lee Soo-man have formed alliances between nations and contributed to world globalization. Now let's take a look at some weaknesses. The exhaustive work hours and labor of artists within the music label under contract may lead to internal conflict, lawsuits, and damaging of public image. Due to the extensive repertoire of individual artists and celebrities within the company and limited budget for promotions within the time frame of 1 year, certain artists are prone to receive less than sufficient marketing or promotion activities that will lead to a decrease in their exposure and profitability. The opportunities SM Entertainment possesses are vast and could go down many different niches due to their wide spectrum of business ventures already in place. With the rise of the metaverse and virtual reality technology, SM has already begun implementing virtual celebrities and VR content of their artists in preparation for the next generation of consumer products and services. The alliance formed between SM Entertainment and Capitol Records in early 2019 has already created a spike in the collaboration between Korean and US artists and projects the possibility of a multilingual and multicultural music industry for the future. Finally, the limited but possible threats of SM Entertainment include geopolitical tensions between North Korea and other countries that have negative relations with South Korea, as there are a good number of non-Korean artists promoting with SM that could spark unintended issues if they commit actions that mention or relate to politics on social media. There have been a multitude of scandals, lawsuits, and unethical actions committed either by artists, staff, or even board members affiliated with SM Entertainment throughout the years, but also a significant amount of ethical values, activities, and protocols rooted deep in the company's foundations as well. To provide a brief overview of some unethical situations which have taken place till now, most of the well-known issues revolve around the slave contract concept within the K-pop industry, where artists and developing trainees are forced through harsh labor and work hours in dancing, singing, plastic surgery, gym training, and strict diets that has been reported to barely pass the universal standard of employee rights and work health and safety. This has led to artists filing lawsuits against their contract to be released from the company due to the harsh working conditions or unfair payment. On the other hand, the positive and ethical effects SM Entertainment has had can be seen from their contributions to UNESCO, the UN, and a multitude of charity and volunteering campaigns. The majority of their artists are ambassadors for charity organizations and personally participate in UNESCO poverty prevention activities alongside donating millions of US dollars towards this exact cause throughout the years. And that is a wrap on my report and presentation behind the entrepreneurial aspects of Mr. Lee Soo-man and SM Entertainment. I truly do hope that you enjoyed your time. Thank you.